everyone, I'm Mackayla. Welcome to the Soundtrack of Our Lives podcast. We're going to jump right in with the two hardest questions of all. Who are you and what have you been up to recently?
Hi, my name is Avery Elise. And recently I've been up to preparing my EP. I am releasing a new song this week called Zoo Hypothesis, and I will be releasing my EP next week.
That's so exciting.
Thank you. I'm like, oh, I'm ready to get it out there.
Not nervous at all, just excited.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's been a long time coming. I try to release like every quarter, and now that I'm getting older, I'm trying to be more consistent with music. I'm just like,
Hmm.
let's have like a steady consistent release date and
Yeah.
everything.
So you said it's been a long time coming. How long have you been working on it for?
Oh my goodness. I have been just curating it for a few months now, close
Hmm.
to almost a year. Really trying to find what type of sound I want.
Yeah.
I kind of bounce back from like dance pop to like more R&B.
Hmm.
So I'm really just trying to like mend the two. And I really have been just taking this past year of just trying to find different beats, find different
Hmm.
instrumentals that I really resonate with and that like I really want to have on like a production that I plan on releasing.
Yeah. That's so exciting.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm excited to hear it all.
Yeah, I'm really happy to just like get it out there. I'm one of those people where it's just like I hold on to music
Hmm.
and I'm like, oh, like it's not perfect yet. Like
Hmm.
let me just keep working on it. And then like time builds up and I'm just like, man, like I've been sitting on this for like a year.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like I'm so hard on myself in terms of music. Like I know how I want things to go and I know how I want it to be.
Hmm.
But I think this year I'm focusing more towards just getting it out there.
Yeah.
Just because I'd rather have my art out there and it not be perfect than try to wait for like the perfect moment.
Hmm. Also, I feel like personally, so I'm not a musician, but an artist. I do like um, media, like drawing. Yeah, like
You're
paintings
good.
and drawings and stuff. And I never like my work. I never feel like it's perfect.
Right. Like it's just within us to just always be our harshest critic.
Hmm.
And then people will see it and they're like, you've been sitting on this for like this entire time and like you haven't told anybody. It's like, yeah, like I think imposter syndrome is just like the biggest enemy that I have right
Hmm.
now because it's just like I want to create something that is meaningful, but also like, okay, you can play it in your car, you can play it in the
Yeah,
club, like you want to be a part of like all of these different elements and you're trying so hard to like fit in each
yeah.
individual box, but it's just like you just need to like get it out
Hmm.
and just let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, and I feel like it might never be perfect to you, but it's
Yeah.
perfect to everybody else.
Exactly, exactly. And so that's kind of what I've been focusing this year on. It's just like getting it out there regardless of whether or not I feel like it's perfect.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, if my friend made this, would I like it? And I'm like,
Yes.
oh, I would. Okay, it works. Or sometimes I'm like, no, it's not ready.
Yes. And even then I ask my friends so much for their critique and they're just like, Avery, just like do it. Like you're wanting like the validation from me. It's like you're the artist, like just
Hmm.
do it. And I'm just like, oh, like, but I want you to like it. I want and I think that it's just like trying to get that like validation from others in order
Hmm.
to like put out your work is like the hardest part of being an artist because you want the validation but also like you should be getting that validation from within and it's like
Yeah,
you're trying so hard.
that is much easier said than done.
And I know, but yeah.
How did you choose the order in which to release the songs?
I it's so incredibly weird, but my favorite number is 3. So,
Mhm.
I'm one of these people where it's like I release every quarter. So I try to like keep it balanced and everything like that, I try to release on a day that is either the number three or
Hmm.
it is divisible by three
Okay.
because like I don't know, I'm just such a geek about the number three. um but in terms of like the order and everything, um these were songs that I had been working on over the course of 3 years.
Hmm.
So um
The number three
each
again.
yeah, I was like, yeah, I've been working on these songs since, 2023. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna release this song at this date. I'm gonna release this song by this date. And ultimately I just wanted to have like consecutive numbers. Like
Hmm.
I'm really big on numbers. And because I just for me it's like I get it. I love a good riddle
Hmm.
and I love a good puzzle, and I can see when people are like, like I look for Easter eggs and everything. So I know it's like, okay, if I'm thinking about this in this particular way, I know that somebody out there is gonna get it. So I really try to make the order of my release kind of almost like the number three, but also kind of like a riddle, kind of, where it's just like, like this is interesting. Like, why is she dropping on like a Monday?
Hmm.
Right? When people usually drop on Friday.
Right.
So I try to, mix up and kind of do it like that.
Were there any Easter eggs in these releases?
Yes. So a lot of my music I refer to as like pop science. I refer to it as like the supernatural. Those are just things that I really gravitate towards. I've
Hmm.
gravitated towards ever since I was a kid. I love the obscure, the weird. So I try to mix those elements into what I'm doing.
Hmm.
Um, my past release with As Above, So Below, what must go up must come down. That was kind of, talked about in the song as well.
Hmm.
And then the cover art is the Ten of Swords, which, represents, death, but also a rebirth,
Hmm.
new beginnings and things like that. So I try to kind of match the imagery with what I'm talking about
Okay.
in the song and also like the title of the song as well, because sometimes I have a new release coming out called Zoo Hypothesis, which is the same way, where it's like I'm taking, obscure conspiracy theories or like the supernatural, and I'm trying to, almost break them down in layman's terms within the song,
Hmm.
just so it's like more palatable. So I try to kind of, you know, I like to, dibble and dabble and do into the weird, into
Hmm.
the different, type of
Yeah.
things.
So you mentioned both like conspiracy theories and supernatural elements. So do you
Mhm.
have a favorite of either of those?
Ooh, I would say mm, a favorite supernatural idea. That is a good question. I think I'm really, in terms of the supernatural, I'm really into the way that people devote themselves to different deities and
Hmm.
things like that. So I kind of gravitate towards, tarot cards
Yeah.
or, Wicca and things like that. In terms of, conspiracy theories, I love anything about aliens.
Hmm.
I love anything. We can get even deeper. We can get into like the weaponized soy. Like I love a good conspiracy theory iceberg. So it is so hard for me to choose like one that's like my absolute favorite.
Are there any so-called conspiracy theories out there that you actually believe? Or that sounds weird, but
No, I do. I have a few. I think my biggest one that I believe, and everybody thinks I'm crazy when I say it, is that I believe that traffic is like, it's man-made. It's like a human error, but like I believe that people are paid to cause traffic. Like because I just don't believe that there are so many people who just don't know how to drive like this. Like I think that I think big oil is hiring people to cause traffic.
that would be nice if that was true. I hope it's true.
I hope it's true
I
too.
haven't heard that one before.
I know I try to pick like stuff that's like super obscure, but not stuff that's like so outlandish. Like,
Hmm.
I'm not a flat earther. Like, I tell people that I'm into conspiracy theories, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we live in a firmament," and I'm like, "Oh well, I wouldn't go that far. I I know the Earth is round."
Hmm.
Like, but yeah, I just think they're so interesting. I think it's interesting seeing, the way people's brain work,
Yeah.
and why that they believe the things that they do. Um because a lot of times, in my personal opinion, I don't think that certain conspiracy theories come from stupidity. I think that a lot of them come from arrogance,
Yeah.
um, which is one of the things that I like touching on within my music is not necessarily pulling from, the supernatural, the strange, and not necessarily calling it stupid or calling it, you know, dumb. Like, I
Hmm.
don't think that anybody who believes in these things are dumb. I don't personally like calling people stupid.
No.
I think that there's an arrogance tied to it where it's like you think that you're right,
Hmm.
but I do want to be able to enlighten people on you know, what these things mean, what they are, whether people believe in them or not. It's all up to, the person who's listening, the person who's watching. But I just like taking things and pulling from them and like adding kind of a new perspective to it.
Hmm. Yeah, I think conspiracy theories also come from like our natural instinct to question everything.
Yeah. I think it's I think it's just, we want to always know why.
Hmm.
And I can't remember who had said this quote, but it was someone, and they were like, the difference between, you know, humans and the rest of the animal kingdom is our ability to reason.
Hmm.
It's literally our ability to wonder why. And that's all we do, and that's why we create civilization. That's why
Yeah.
we create music and art, because we're trying to just make sense of things. So, that's all I really have ever wanted to do with my music is just
Hmm.
ask why, and just try to find some sense, trying to make sense of something,
Have
even out
you?
of nothing. I have tried. I've tried. Um I think I've gotten to my journey to the point where I'm comfortable in not knowing.
Hmm.
I think that I've just reached this point where it's just like it's so much sensory overload,
Hmm.
especially with like technology and things like that, where you're just getting so much information. And I think that there's a beauty within being comfortable with the unknown.
Yeah.
Um, and as much as we try to make sense of things, there's just some things we just may never know.
Hmm.
And I think now, as I've grown, it's become something where I'm like, okay, I'm I'm comfortable knowing whether or not knowing whether or not there's an afterlife. Like, I'm,
Hmm.
I'm comfortable in that, you
Right.
know. But I don't mind exploring those topics within my music because I want to be able to give that space for people to question and give that space to
Hmm.
for people to wonder why.
Yeah. Or do aliens exist or not?
Yeah,
But
like
we won't
oh
know
no.
until we know.
Yeah, it's like we really won't know. And it even adds on to, different layers. It's like, okay, if aliens exist, it's like, do they actually want to harm us? Do they actually want to, work with us? Are they just watching us all from afar and
Hmm.
not intervening? So it's just layers upon layers of things that we wonder why about. And it's fun to wonder why. But I also think it's fun to let the why be a why
Hmm.
and not like ponder on it.
Right.
So it's just letting things be as they may. And, I think that there's beauty in that. And I think that there's, simplicity in that.
It is hard at times because to just live with that question.
Yeah. It's definitely like it's kind of like a load on the human,
Hmm.
psyche and everything. And it's something that's hard to detach from.
Yeah.
I think that so many times, I think that everybody has like an existential crisis at some point
Oh, of
where they're just like,
course.
They're like, oh, I'm just this tiny speck in the universe, and then the universe will end in like some sort of heat death,
Hmm.
whatever they're talking about on TikTok. That it's went viral. Um, but I think that it's just I think the weight of the why is because of everything around us.
Hmm.
I think that for thousands of years, people have kind of filled in their own gaps.
Yep.
And I think that now that we have the knowledge that we have, and we can't necessarily fill those gaps with things like religion or spirituality, people get uncomfortable with that.
Hmm.
And I think that I really do believe that people can be able to sit and feel with their emotions
Yeah.
and things like that, and be uncomfortable with, not knowing, and being able to sit with uncomfortability, and I think that it sounds weird, but
Hmm.
I truly believe it's freeing to sit with uncomfortability.
I think it's just an invaluable skill to have in life.
Yeah. It's just, it's such like a weird type of feeling, when you, especially if you're someone who, grows up religious or grows up more spiritual,
Hmm.
where you're just kind of in like this, this lukewarm, this gray area, um, where it's almost I would equate it to feeling sonder,
Hmm.
but I think it's sonder, but a little happy, a little
Yeah.
peaceful, you know?
Yeah. And I think, what was I going to say? That that uncomfortability rolls over into every other part of your life because you're more willing to like take risks.
Yes, yes. I think, and I think a lot of times people mix uncomfortability with fear.
Hmm.
Um, which to me I think are two separate things. I think that people treat uncomfortability like it's this like paralyzing thing.
Yeah.
Um, but it's something that is inevitable. I think we're all going to feel it at some point. And you kind of just have to sit with it.
Hmm.
And one of the things that I always wanted to do within my music is to speak on things that are not necessarily talked about as often, things
Hmm.
that make people uncomfortable, things that are taboo. So that's why I kind of gravitate towards, talking about, certain spiritual concepts or certain, astrological concepts, because I'm just like, I think people need to hear it, and they need to hear,
Hmm.
they need to be able to sit with that uncomfortability, because there's so much going on, and there's so much going on in the world where people want to be able to block that stuff out, but you know art has always been political.
Hmm.
Art has always made people uncomfortable, and it's showing a mirror to people's selves, and I think that um just being able to what would I say? I was like, I literally lost my train of thought. But yeah, just having the ability to, you know, make people uncomfortable, but being able to sit with that uncomfortability,
Hmm.
face it head on, is something that I always wanted to do. And I never wanted to take that aspect away from my music. I
Yeah.
never wanted to make music where it was just like, it's it's palatable, but it's not something that pushes a button. I
Hmm.
don't mind pushing buttons. I don't mind doing that. Um, so, there are certain things that I talk about where it's just like I've even had people tell me, it's like, wow, I've never heard somebody talk about these things. And I'm like, yeah, like because like nobody wants to talk about it. It's like the elephant in the room, because people are scared to be uncomfortable.
Hmm.
Um, but I've always told people, like, social anxiety is scared of me. Like social anxiety is scared of me. So I'll say the quiet parts out loud. I love to make people uncomfortable. Like that
For
is,
for somebody who is struggling with uncomfortability, what advice would you give them?
ooh, I would give them exposure therapy, exposure therapy, exposure therapy.
Hmm.
Um, I think that um uncomfortability can look like a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Um, and just little by little, practice exposing yourself to certain things, practice exposing yourself to rejection, exposing yourself to embarrassment
Hmm.
or the idea of embarrassment or shame or anything like that. In my personal opinion, I believe that guilt, shame, embarrassment, like these are all personal choices.
Yeah.
And
They help build character too.
yeah, and they help build character. I truly believe that they are just like they're emotions that we really don't need to have. I'm not gonna say that they're bad or good. I would say more so like vestigial. Like it's probably a feeling that we needed in the past, but we don't
Hmm.
necessarily need it anymore. Um, but one of the ways that I, you know, tried to push past, anxiety or self-doubt or embarrassment or even just overall uncomfortability is just exposing myself to things that make me uncomfortable so
Hmm.
that I no longer feel those feelings anymore because
Yeah.
it's a constant repetitive like get it out your system that way I don't have to deal with it anymore. So that's the biggest thing that I would probably say.
That is very good advice. Much easier
Thank
said
you.
than done, though.
Yeah. It's like little by little, baby steps,
Right.
baby steps.
So, before I ask the last question, was there
Mhm.
anything else you wanted to mention or talk about today?
Ooh, music, music, music. Everybody, please stream Zoo Hypothesis. It is a scientific, geeky, nerdy song about the Zoo Hypothesis, which is the one of the solutions to the Fermi paradox, which Zoo Hypothesis basically states that aliens exist,
Hmm.
but they're watching us from afar and just observing us like we're in a zoo.
Hmm.
So the whole premise of the song is me speaking to them as if I'm talking to aliens.
Hmm.
So it was something it was so difficult to make. It was so difficult to write, but I'm so excited for people to hear it. There are a few Easter eggs in it, and I'm so excited. There's some quirky parts where I'm just like, oh, I can't wait till people hear it. So yeah, I my Instagram is at the Avery Elise, Avery Avery, Elise Elise. And it'll be like I'll be in like a cute little, American flag bikini and everything. So I'm not hard to miss on Instagram. I am not hard to miss.
Okay. So, our last question is, what is the soundtrack of your life?
Ooh. Is it a collection of songs or is it a specific genre, specific
It
album?
is whatever you would like it to be,
Ooh,
which
okay.
makes it much harder.
Oh my gosh. I think the soundtrack of my life would be all of the music that what my mom would make me clean the house to. So it is a lot of Jill Scott,
Hmm.
a lot of Maxwell, a lot of Mary J. Blige, a lot of Shaka Khan, just all mixed into one. I would wake up when I was a kid and I would hear Jill Scott in a long walk and I would be like, oh, okay, it's time to clean. It's
Do
time to
you
clean.
do you still clean to that music?
I still do. It's so comforting. I used to not like it. I feel like, oh my gosh. I'm like, oh my gosh, now I have to sweep the carpet now because, my mom has on, just, yeah, like mint condition. And so now I have to clean, but it's so like it's so nostalgic to
Hmm.
me, and it puts me in like a happy place. It like warms my inner child. And I tell my mom about it all the time, and she literally just laughs. So I would like have like a glass of wine, and I will just put on, some Jill Scott or some Kelly Price, and I will just get to cleaning. And it's just it's just, to me, it's just the sweetest thing. And it's almost like I'm paying homage to my mom
Yeah.
without her being around. I mean, she is around, like,
Hmm.
she's not dead, but it's something that kind of like heals my inner child.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I do really appreciate it.
Of course. Have a nice rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye.